Since the 1970s, OSHA has required that employers over a certain size keep track of all of the serious injuries and illnesses that take place in the workplace, and they have to then make that data available to workers in the workplace for a few months afterwards. They have to post that data publicly. But afterwards, there was no record of that data. There was no record of how hazardous workplaces were in previous years. And so starting in 2016, OSHA issued a new regulation that employers had to take a summary of that data and submit it to OSHA. And the idea was that OSHA would then have a repository of how hazardous workplaces were across the United States, and they would make that data publicly available to everybody who wants it in the United States. Without data on the number of injuries and illnesses that are taking place in each workplace, we really have no idea where to focus our efforts to improve workplace safety. We looked at why so many nursing homes are not complying with this new OSHA regulation from 2016. The best data available suggests that only 40% of nursing homes in the country are complying with this requirement to report data on workplace injuries and illness. So what we look to do is to see whether or not unions can play an important role in increasing employer compliance with that law. And what we did was we looked at whether or not employers were complying before and after unionization. And by comparing reporting activity before and after unionization to nursing homes that never unionized, we're able to come up with a sort of quasi-experimental approach that allows us to estimate the effect of unionization on nursing home compliance. And what we found was an enormous increase. We found a 31 percentage point increase in compliance after unionization, compared to the average compliance rate of only 40%. That represents a 78% increase in employer compliance following unionization. Only about 16% of nursing homes in the United States are unionized, which means that there's enormous room for improvements following industry-wide unionization. We estimate in the paper that over 2,000 more nursing homes would be complying with this law if the entire industry were to unionize. Yeah, nursing homes are amongst the most dangerous workplaces in the United States, as dangerous or more dangerous than construction sites or even logging, and that was even before the pandemic. In 2019, the most dangerous job, that is the job with the highest injury and illness rates in the country, were nursing assistants, which make up more than half of workers in nursing homes. So really the most dangerous jobs in the country are in nursing homes, even before the risk of COVID-19 that came during the pandemic. For me, the significance is that in the United States, employers are often found to be violating basic labor law and workplace safety regulations. And our study suggests that unions can be an important part of increasing compliance with the basic laws of the land. OSHA has very limited resources from the federal government, and that means that it kind of lacks the capacity to monitor and to enforce its own regulations sometimes. And so one of the things that we found in the study is that unions can be an important partner of OSHA to make sure that its own regulations are being followed by employers.